Well, Corey, Mr. Burch Barrel, I take it that we are cooking here today.
We're gonna cook a lot of stuff.
I see that. We're gonna eat a lot of stuff.
I think so. We got 4 barrels set up. We got, I think, 5 or 6 different meals that we'll be cooking, all wild game specific, and more importantly, telling stories.
Thanks for being here. I have no idea what we're doing. I was told show up, bring something to cook, and we're all gonna be in your backyard. Should we get started?
Let's rock and roll.
All right. So what we have here is a whole front shoulder boned out from a coues deer I shot in December. My first and only coues deer. And it came from Arizona, and Marcus was spotting all these mountain lions. And then he spotted, I spotted this buck after Marcus said, hey, there's a buck over there. I'm like, yeah. Well, what about the bigger one? Being the sporting guy I am, I gave him a warning shot right over the top of his back, and then I shot him. And then we packed him out, and as we're packing him out, Marcus sees these big eyes sitting on the rocks above us. He's like, in the dark, he's like, I don't think you should go that direction, come this way. It was the mountain lion. Jamie is teaching me how to cook this, so I've given her the hard task of helping me figure out what we do with something that's been in marinade all night, got tied up, and then rubbed with meat church, I think whatever. It's from Arkansas. My sister lives in Arkansas. What do we do with this, Jamie?
So we're gonna throw that right in the center of the barrel.
That's a hot flame right
Yeah,
there.
It's really hot. So we're gonna get a really nice sear on there, and then we're gonna do asado style, which means we're gonna put it up in this lid and then just let it finish cooking, and then we're actually gonna finish it dirty style, right on the coals.
Dirty.
Yeah.
So this is my first mountain lion. I killed it in January. And it was kind of funny because I tried to buy my tag online before I left for Christmas break, and the system was down, so I wasn't able to get it until I got back in town. I'd prepared to go hunting with my buddy Mark. I wanted to get that tag early, but I didn't get to. So I bought the tag, we planned this hunt, and I drove out to go hunting with him. And that Saturday morning, I'm looking over my tags, and I realized that my tag's not valid until the next day. So I just sat in the front seat and was checking tracks and helping out. We had another friend with us who had a valid tag. So we went around, we didn't cut any tracks that morning. The next day though, our buddy who was with us was pretty tired, didn't want to go. So it was just myself and Mark. And that morning we cut a fresh track at probably 10 or 11 a.m. and cut the dogs loose. And yeah, on a piece of BLM, shot this mountain lion with a longbow, and now it's gonna be a roast and turn into a Monte Cristo sandwiches for you all.
Hey everybody, my name's Corey Pearsall with Burch Barrel. The recipe that I'm cooking today is wild turkey stew. This turkey was my first turkey that I've harvested. Before I got this turkey, put a stalk on a turkey that I could see probably 200 yards away, dropped into a coulee, made a slow stalk, started to slowly come up, feeling like I was doing everything right. I knew there was about 14 hens, at least one tom, maybe a jake, and I'm tiptoeing up, and as I'm getting close to the top and I'm really moving slow, a head pops up like a little submarine telescope and spots me dead on. And I don't know what to do, but I remember back at camp people talking about charging the turkeys and just running at them. I don't know if they were joking or if they were being serious. So I just go full on kind of marauder mode and charge the turkey. As I get up there and I pull, he's only about 10 yards away from me, but I notice a hen behind him. And so I'm like, I can't pull the trigger. And I just got really frustrated. It just was like, and as I gobble, everything took to the sky. I mean, all 14 birds just took off. I just stood there realizing that that is definitely not how you turkey hunt, regrouped, walked probably 200 yards away and just sat down. 10 minutes later, I hear a gobble. And I'm like, okay, let's just think about everything that I've learned today and let's maybe apply it. So I sit there, give a couple yelps on a box call. He responds, yelp a little bit more, he responds. 10 minutes later, this turkey's on a shelf, pacing 15 yards away from me, no shot, probably for another 5 to 10 minutes. And I decide I'm just gonna go marauder mode again. Charge the hill, get up on the hill. As I stop, he stops running away at about 15 yards and I pull up and get my first turkey.
How's it going, friends and family of Fresh Tracks? Michael here. I got an elk backstrap cut up right here, and I'm gonna make fajitas. Just a basic meal for a basic dude, and hopefully everybody likes it. But the story behind this guy is, got this elk last year in 2020 in December, a late season rifle hunt. I was with Marcus. It was a limited draw unit, a glory tag, and we got there and it was not what we expected. We searched for multiple days, couldn't locate a single elk. And to be honest, there are points in this trip where I thought, I kind of want to just pack up and go home and we'll come back later in the season when we get some weather. But we stuck with it. We went off of the only information we saw the whole trip, which was a couple elk tracks. Wound up finding a couple bulls down in a steep canyon, probably the furthest area from a road, and wound up getting the job done. Yeah, it was just an amazing experience. The pack out was from hell, and it was steep, steep, steep. A lot of hard work went into this one. But yeah, I'm about to throw this on, sear up the meat. We're gonna throw some veggies on the directly onto the coals and see if this turns out all right.
So today I'm going to make antelope sliders from the antelope buck that I killed with my wife last year, the first weekend of the season. We had a really good hunt, had about an hour and a half to scout, went out there, found a few antelope, got up the next morning, and it was like ants coming to converge on our hill that we were glassing from, just tons of people around. And as we were kind of driving through this little chunk of BLM, I look over and 200 yards from us is this antelope buck like bedded in this very low depression. So we drove past him, made a little play. I got out, stalked back up to him. And as this is happening, I have 3 other trucks just drive right past, like did not see this buck bedded down at all. And I slip back in there. The buck ends up seeing us or getting spooked from all the vehicle traffic. And he starts to kind of walk off, and luckily I was able to set up and get a shot. So today with the antelope sliders, I decided to do some caramelized onion first and then include it inside of it, and gonna cook it with some secret sauce. We'll see if they turn out any good.
So every once in a while I have to clean out my freezer and I reorganize everything. Sometimes things fall through the crack, which is the case with this burger. It's from 3 years ago, an elk that I shot in archery season. And part of this meal is to show that burger can still be good, even after 3 years in a freezer. I think it stays fine. But anyway, it all came from an elk in 2018. I shot on opening day of archery season, which was a wild ride. We were in Montana on public land, but we ended up calling in 8 bulls that day. Or no, 8 different elk. There was a couple instances of cows. But anyway, we called in 8 elk. And my wife shot a bull at like 30 yards, and we were cutting up her bull, and there was elk that continued to bugle across the drainage. So that was already an incredible experience, opening day of archery season. And maybe 15 minutes of light left, we decided that, well, Kara continued to cut up the elk, and I ran across the drainage. Cow called a few times, cowled in a cow, the little bull followed, and I arrowed it at 48 yards. So we had 2 elk down, about 4 miles from the pickup, on opening day of archery season, which in the next few days ensued a very, very difficult pack out. And we're still enjoying the meat today, whether I meant to or not. It got lost in the freezer. But the dish is very simple. It's hamburgers. It's literally salt, pepper, Italian seasoning. I did throw a tiny bit of butter in there so it didn't stick too bad. And we're just making hamburgers. Elk burgers, rather.
Turkey like
Jess?
soup. Ooh, hot.
Pause.
Let's get this plan.
What'd you call it, Monte Cristo?
Monte Cristo.
It's so good, so good.
If you would have told me, Jamie, that this could turn out this good, I would have lost $1,000 bet.
It's
I need that.
it's delicious.
What is it?
Antelope sliders.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that my favorite dish was Paul's, the cat slider, or cat, what'd you call him?
Monte Cristo.
The cat Monte Cristo is my favorite. How about you, Marcus Hockett? Why don't you let the audience know what you think about your favorite dish?
Man, Corey's story, I really like the story, but the best combo story and dish, I gotta give it to Paul with the cat. Those sandwiches were really good.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually eating your dish right now.
Nice. What do you think?
It's good.
Okay.
Not my favorite.
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna go with Corey's dish with Marcus's story.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you for your time. Jamie from Burch Barrel here.
Yes. Okay, I'm going with Paul's
Oh my God.
like cat sandwich because it was so good. It was really good.
Sweeping them, Paul.
Sweeping through, yeah.
Corey.
The Monty, full Monty. That was delicious. The cat. I do appreciate Marcus's story though. Just don't be afraid of aged meat, I guess.
Yeah. David, why don't you step right up? This is our ace editor right here, David.
The best like meat itself I thought was the coues deer, and then my favorite one to eat was your tacos. But the best overall presentation like was the mountain lion.
All right, so which one was your favorite?
Let's just go. I'll go with your tacos.
That's right. Thank you. Mr. Newberg, why don't you come on up here and tell the audience what you think about this food today?
What I think about it? I think it was all great. Since I really didn't cook it, I'm voting for Jamie's coues deer.
Okay. All right, that's fair enough. PK, this is Paul Kemper, one of our newest employees.
I think as far as story goes, I really like Marcus's story, but it was a toss-up between your tacos and the coues deer. And while I really enjoyed the coues deer, I liked your tacos for the summer element. Like, it was refreshing, it was light, and it was something that I want to eat on a day like today.
Right on. Jess is also one of our fire editors.
Okay. All the stories were great, but Paul's was my favorite food.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that all you have to say?
That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Jess. Jace is the newest employee of Fresh Tracks on Your Own Adventures.
I will say, for just being just this piece of meat, that coues deer was absolutely delicious. So that was really good. And Marcus's elk story was pretty cool to hear. So,
What's your favorite one?
the coues deer.
Okay, thank you. 2 votes for the coues. Was that 2 or 3 votes for the? 3 votes for the coues deer. A couple votes for the taco, but outstanding winner would be Paul Kemper with the mountain lion Monte Cristo. Guys, I can't talk. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and yeah, Randy's gonna close it out for us.
If you want to have open fire cooking, really good open fire cooking, Burch Barrel, right here. Promo code Randy will save you a bunch of money. Go out there. What's the burchbarrel.com?
BURCH.
BURCH barrel.com. We want any questions or comments, mostly questions, down below, and we'll pass them along to Burch Barrel. And the next time we have them here, maybe we'll have answers to those questions. But go hunting and good eating.